Welcome to our Boulder County market update for our lovely lender friends.
This is for the month of June 2023, and we're going to be talking about Boulder County. So let's dive in. Really, first off the top, what we're kind of seeing here is obviously we know we're down in solds. Under contracts are slightly down. Sales price is down a little bit on the average. That can be attributed to partially a little bit different composition of sales, especially right now with the cost of money going up last week. We're kind of in that boat right now, so we're just waiting for a little bit more stability.
Well, I think we really need to dive into each one of these little sections a little more specific because Tucker and I are just trying to read between the lines here with what's going on. So let's take a look at active units specifically, because active units in places like the city of Boulder, year over year, they're up 25%. But as a whole, we're actually less inventory than we were this time last year. If you remember, inventory started to skyrocket there for a little bit, right? We went from literally nothing to just a little bit. And so I think as inventory really took off, certain submarkets are going to show real different than they did a year ago. Look at Louisville. It's actually down in inventory from this time last year. And then you got places like Niwot that's up 75%. So it's all over the board. I think you really need to look into submarket data if you possibly can, because it's going to be pretty telling.
It's, and what's really interesting is every little pocket in Boulder County, it's really acting a little bit differently. What we're seeing, even, not too far from Louisville to Lafayette, we're seeing a little bit different stories, a little bit different market factors. So we're really just trying to kind of read between the lines because we're seeing conflicting data on both sides, and we'll go over that here right now.
So this is month supply of inventory where, 4 to 6 months is about balance. The bulk of the county is operating around 2 months of inventory, right? Everything outside of Niwot and Boulder, the higher end of some of those markets, are sitting a little bit longer, but, as they probably should be. More expensive homes should take longer to sell, right? So when you're working with buyers, I think there's a couple of key takeaways. One being, there's some crazy good trade-up opportunities if you've got cash or if you're only, not nearly as sensitive to an interest rate, right?
Or if they're selling some lower and moving up. That's not, as we'll see later, the market's really showing it's good for trade-up opportunities because of that cost of money.
Yeah.
Having that large down payment really is really allowing them to keep that monthly payment at least close enough to make that trade.
Or if you want to trade from like Louisville to Boulder, maybe this is a good time to do that because there's not a lot of inventory. You're definitely getting top dollar out in Louisville. There's a little bit more inventory in Boulder. Maybe you can pick a little bit, right?
And we know if rates ever get back down to 5, heck, it's going to be a super hot market again. We know it's going to just be super rampant. Maybe not, 15% appreciation.
Well, let's talk about speed of the market. It's right here, right?
Yeah.
Like, remember last year, we were at 11 and a half days in the MLS, right? So it's felt super fast. Average days in MLS are 28 and a half. The median's at like 9. So the average and the median are drastically different. Certain homes are sitting on the market a while. I think if your buyers are looking for opportunity, they can absolutely look at those homes that have been sitting on the market a little bit longer, because sometimes it's just the fact they're just a little bit dated, and maybe it's still an amazing house, an amazing location, and if they're willing to do a little bit of that work, they could even go get a deal.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Anthony. And then on top of that is, just because something's been on the market doesn't always mean there's something wrong. Maybe there were some good offers and one of them fell through because of X, Y, and Z. Never a bad idea. Remind people, make offers. Make offers. If you like the house, make an offer. Don't look at the price and go, oh, it's $10,000 too expensive, because there's a really good chance that seller would take a $10,000 haircut to get this property sold. So, always recommend them. It's not disrespectful to put an offer in. You're putting in an offer, they can say no. But just keep that ball turning, and especially on those properties that are more than 2 weeks on the market. A lot of opportunity there. People want, if they are on the market right now, they need to sell. Look at those. Those are good options.
And they're going to actually start taking longer to sell. So the average days in MLS tends to trend down to like May or June is usually the lowest point, and then it trends back up. So what we're really going to see here is we're going to see this overwhelming increase in days in MLS, especially if interest rates stay stagnant where they're at, or somewhere around 6.5–7% for the rest of the year, which could happen. So if that happens, we're going to see a pretty normal seasonal trend into the fall, and things just take longer to sell. So your buyers can really start getting out there and negotiating. We love these slides for our buyers, right?
So we really think these are some of the best slides used with your buyers. And even when you're talking about strategies, where are we looking? Because you can really see how the price is playing out and how different the market is. First and foremost, let's start at the top right. 3+ million, 17 sold last month in June.
It's a good one.
While we have a lot of inventory up there, 97, we had 17 sold. And yeah, we have a large month supply of inventory, but the fact we have this much moving is really unbelievable given
Lots
the
of cash
cost of
deals coming to Boulder County.
lots of cash. And that's what we've been hearing anecdotally from our closing teams is they're seeing massive amounts of cash. And when we look at our year-to-date change on the right-hand side on the lower right, we're only down just about 10% in the 3 million compared to last year. Whereas everywhere else, we're in double digits plus. Double, triple, quadruple that.
1.5 to 2 million. We're down 42%.
Yeah, and
So,
that's all a factor of the money. That's all a factor of the cost of money.
Definitely a factor of money.
Because those people are now shopping, in that 800 to maybe 1.1 versus that 1.1 up to 1.6, 1.7.
That's right.
And that's really where a lot of the really nice finished inventory is that 1 to 2 million range, especially at 1.5 to 2 is a lot of nice inventory. When you hit that 850 to a million in Boulder County, the inventory just it might have the square footage, but it doesn't have the finishes.
Yeah, well, speaking of inventory, look at this one. Month supply of inventory and days on market. There is not a lot of inventory under 800,000, right?
No.
And then you get over 2 million and you're like, oh my God, we got 8 months of inventory. We're in a buyer's market all the way up through 3+ million, where even if you had 17 sales, you have 100 homes on the market. I mean,
Yeah.
These markets could not be more different. So what I think the big takeaway here is with your buyers, trade-up opportunity is huge. Inventory is really starting to rise, the higher end stuff, especially that 800 to a million up to 2 million, right? 800 to 2 million. We're really seeing rising in inventory. There's probably some good trade-up opportunity if they could sell below that, or if they sell, somewhere in that price range in a cool location, but want to go get a way bigger house or something out in the county, right?
You want to
there's
get
lots
into
of cool
Boulder,
stuff.
you want to get into Niwot. This
Yeah.
is the market to do it, because if we're in a lower interest rate market, the competition is going to be so much higher. It's going to be much more expensive. Now, it's going to still be expensive with the higher interest rate and the much larger loan payment, which is good for y'all. But even with that, this is their window to get into the county while they can, right? Because it's so hard when you get out of Boulder to come back in, and that's where a lot of people want to be. This is a window to do that.
Let's also look at the sale price. So this is where we kind of diverge from combined markets to detached and attached specifically, because they have been changing at very different paces through the pace of this market. So Tucker, tell us the gloom and doom in detached.
Well, doom and gloom is it's down a little bit, but it's also a little bit of a different composition of sales. So we're seeing more high-end, super high-end, or a little bit more low-end, not a lot in the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes is struggling because that's the average folks.
And that's actually moving the average down, right?
And that's what's moving our average down. While we still had 17 and 3 million plus sales, the beef of the market right there in the middle is just trending down because the average person can't afford that mortgage. I mean, to have two people making the money they need to go buy $1 million house at 25% down or even 20% down, those are really strong incomes. You're making a couple $100,000 without a lot of expenses. So just to put it into those real, think about it, your pool of folks who qualify keeps shrinking as our rates continue to stay high. Now, as people get used to it, maybe we'll see a little bit more activity, people coming off the sidelines, but that's just going to be hard. It depends on what their needs are. So for people who have rentals, great for them. Rents are going up right now because people aren't buying.
Well, so then what are they doing to, counteract maybe some of this cost of money?
Oh, well, if you can't afford the detached house, you buy the attached, or you drive out as far as you have to go until you qualify.
Okay, well, as funny as that might be, I mean, the data literally points to it. You get these negative numbers all over the county in the detached market, and the attached market is 19% up in Louisville, 15% in Niwot,
and what
11%.
We're looking at, let's just always be clear, we're looking at the TTM change.
Right. The year-over-year number actually bounced down, but I think it's because we had some really cool extreme sales in the city of Boulder last year.
We had some good inventory coming out.
Yeah,
we had some brand new inventory coming in that
1.5
to 2 million range.
As you can see, it bounces all over the place. But that's why we like the blended data for this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's been amazing to see just how much appreciation those attached products got. But if you remember, 2020, they did not do well. So
No.
when they didn't do well, there was a bigger spread between the detached and attached price than we'd seen in a long time. And so it's finally catching up,
even
right?
into 21. It's really just kind of building. It's really just catching back up to be on par with where it should have been without the pandemic. And right now, location is huge, right? You'll never regret buying something in the right location. Good chance you'll regret something buying it in a bad location. It's just how it is. Don't buy on the busy street corner. It's gonna be impossible to sell it.
That's right.
Yeah, you'll get a steal on it, but there's a reason why.
Yeah.
And so that's where you guys
have a hard time renting
so
those
much
when it comes into these markets, right? So here's the one slide that I think tells a really good story of how this market's going to change over the next 2 quarters, right? So we've seen these really tough sales numbers. We're down almost 20% year to date in total sales. You can see we just missed the mark every month. May was pretty good, actually. It was definitely better than Denver Metro. Boulder County.
Denver Metro's hurting a little bit more than Boulder County.
Yeah, but
Boulder County's
probably
doing better.
6 or 7% difference, right?
Which is a lot of houses.
It's a lot of houses. So July always has a little bit of a dip. If we are down 20%, we're down 20% over the next quarter. But that fourth quarter, October, November, December, that was like a cliff last year. So we're going to make up some ground in Q4. And I'm really confident, as always, with this market because we're in the Boulder bubble and there's really no reason not to be confident in the real estate market here. Even the cost of money is not going to just stop everything that's going on. So I think it's really important just to show, we may be a little slower, but we have a really good window to pick up.
We have a window to catch up to for last quarter of the year. It just really depends on interest rates. If they can at least stay stable, we should see some good solid data coming in ahead of where we were last year, because last year was painful, right? We all were on the same boat.
35-40% people panicked and pulled back. When you saw 35 or 40% drops in the fourth quarter, it is very telling that we should be able to make that up when we're only down 14% current month year over year.
And that's compared to those beginning of the year numbers, which were super strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So here's
favorite
the one
slides by far.
This is your favorite slide?
All of them are, but these last two are. If you want to do the detached, I'll do the attached.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what's going on. The percentage sold price to list price is what measures basically, if it's a seller's market, you're getting close to asking price or at asking price. It seasonally trends up all the way through May or June, right? So we're at the peak of the market. This number right now, this 99.7% total, is really normal for any normalized market outside the last couple of years. So we reached the peak. We're starting to trend down a little bit seasonally. Everything looks healthy and normal. There's still bidding wars at 1 to 2 million. There's still bidding wars under 800,000. It's still a normal spring to summer awesome market, right? Now, June being the summer market that it is, things start to trend down. They slow. Going into July, you have this crazy slowdown over the 4th of July weekend. So it's like a 3-week month instead of a 4-week month. That plays into some of this. But honestly, we're just trending back to more normal times.
This is coming back to the normal market. When you look at the visual graph, that's not normal. That's not healthy. That's not a good market, right? That's not sustainable. Even for us living here and working in this industry, it's not good. We want consistent growth, not peak and then
we don't want peaks and valleys, right?
We don't want to be a cliff. Walking right off.
That's right.
But this is where the interesting thing is on the attached side as well. Is a lot of those price bands are still hitting 100%, and that just shows the homes that are priced right and that are moving the ones that are getting sold.
Luxury and attached.
They're doing really well.
Off, just great.
And that's where people are moving back into the attached units. And so, for those clients of yours that are worried about values in attached, that's a good buy right now is attached. Because it's gonna keep catching up to the detached. It hasn't fully gotten there yet. So that's where you have a little bit more just natural appreciation built in, and especially in a higher interest rate environment, your more affordable products get more demand because there's more people who have to qualify in that price band.
And we definitely don't build enough of them. So they're just
we do have a lot of multifamily coming to the market here, Boulder County and just across the Front Range, but we're still so underbuilt. And a lot of it will be rentals or will be kind of apartment
I think that's
style.
the bigger problem is if they're rental apartments, it's still not that price point and that product type for that first-time home buyer, right?
So and they can't build.
There's places for them to sleep.
Yeah.
There's just not places for them to start households.
Right? Well, and this is the thing is, you're not going to see condos under $600,000 that are brand new in Boulder unless they're affordable housing. because the cost to develop is so expensive.
So much.
You know, we're watching this with several developments across town. The only way to make those numbers work is pay your cash and lose 60 to 70,000 bucks a unit, and then they are, you know, the rest, there's some affordable, and the rest are, you know, 800 million, 2 million, because that's the only way to make these numbers work with the cost of money, the dirt, the materials, all that stuff. So for your buyers, remind them, attached is a good buy. That's a great area to be in, and you get your location.
All right, well, hopefully this was helpful. We love doing these videos for every month. Thank you so much for supporting us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get more of Tucker and I. Because
or at
who
least
doesn't
more
want
of
that?
him. I'm only on once a month.
All right,
Take care,
everybody. Well,
everybody.
thanks so much. We'll see you next time.